Ta-da! We're here! This is Series 4! Hallelujah! I can't believe it. We're finally here. After all those Series 4 prologue vids that just seem to go on and on and on and on, we're finally here. People have been saying in the comments, don't you mean Series 5? No, I mean Series 4. Because they see prologue means comes before. So Series 4 prologue means Series 4 is on the way. And here it is. Series 4. Series 5, let's not talk about that. We've only just started with Series 4 and there's about 130 vids or something for Series 4. I've got to do all the Engage stuff and the how to make a model railway and the Lego and all the reviews and the how-tos and loads and loads and loads of stuff. Now I've been deciding, I've been trying to decide for weeks and weeks what to start the series with, and this is it. The Midland Compound. It's long overdue. I got it from the NRM at Railfest, which was last year. It was the summer of 2012, and that was months ago. So I've been holding on to this, locked in its box, wrapped up in ice, just looking at it, looking how pretty it is. And I've not been running it, I've not been using it, I've not been enjoying it because I've been waiting to do the review. But it's just taken me that long to get round to it because the Series 4 prologue that tons of people asked for went on for ages. It was really, really big and hard to do. Plus, it takes me ages to reply to comments and reply to emails, and I have other jobs as well. But we're finally here. This is it, the Midland Compound. And honestly, this is one impressive locomotive. We know that Bachmann do very, very good steam locomotives, and only every now and again does something come out that's not quite right. But this is, it's just beautiful. It's possibly the finest steam locomotive they have ever done. And you'll see why when I open it up. Because I have already opened it up and looked at it, but that was months ago. That was when it was brand new and I was checking it was okay. Which is something I do recommend you do. Obviously, if you buy a locomotive from anywhere, if you buy it from the internet or a shop, get it open and check it's okay. And if it's not, take it back because it'll be covered under warranty, you see. So anyway, yes, the Midland Compound. Now, lots of people have been asking on Twitter and through Facebook and YouTube and stuff, what is a Midland Compound? Well, it's a design that was, of Midland Railway, the Midland Railway origin. And if we just turn this over, you can see there's a little bit of information on the back about where it came from, basically. It's really quite a fascinating locomotive. It's quite interesting. It's not like anything else I've got. And actually, if you look at those wheels, and if you painted it blue, who does it remind you of? It's a bit like Edward, isn't it? I don't know if Edward from Thomas and Friends is supposed to be a Midland Compound. I'm sure somebody will tell me. But it does look a little bit like Edward, and it's an old design. They stopped making locomotives of that kind of arrangement and design. Don't worry about that. That was just some ice falling on the conservatory. So it really is an interesting design. Midland Railway history. Where does it say now? Here we go. There we go. Look, see the chief mechanical engineer of the Midland Railway. It was designed by Samuel Waite Johnson, the Midland Compound was. And they used 3 cylinders. This is what makes them so interesting, but I'll have to talk about that later. There's quite a few of them were built. Initially, just a few of them were made, but then, because it was so popular, loads of them were made. And what's quite interesting is the guy who designed it was from the Midland Railway, but he used information and tips and tricks from the LNER Railway, and then it ended up being owned by the LMS Railway, which became part of British Railways. So everyone's had a dabble in this, which is probably why it's so good, because it just shows you what happens when people get together. Usually, the things they can make are pretty amazing. Well, it's the typical Bachmann packaging. It's really, really nice. I love this type of packaging. The sleeve is really luxurious, and to have all this information on the back here is really good. And look, they've even put a little sticker on saying, "We're grateful to the LMS Society who kindly provided detail." Although, to be honest, you can get that information from anywhere. You can get it from the internet and books, but it's really nice of them to do that. That's really, really nice, really polite. So anyway, take the sleeve off, and then it's in this cardboard box. We take out this, everyone's calling it the block of ice now. I don't know if I started that or if other people started it and I copied them, but it just reminds me of a block of ice. Look at it, it's like it's frozen. You can't get at it. Because it's a sleeve over an actual plastic holder, it really does look like it's been frozen, doesn't it? Anyway, moving on. What else do we get in the packet? Okay, this is all the gumph. Now, remember, that's a technical term. Collector's Club. I will join it. I keep saying I'm going to join it. I haven't joined it yet. I will do that. I will get around to doing that. And I might make a video on it as well. Okay, so what we've got. Midland Compound 440. That's the wheel arrangement. Yeah, 4 and then 4 and nothing at the back. Ignore the tender. That doesn't count. Okay, running in, 1 hour in each direction. I think 45 minutes is fine. 45 minutes is fine. Especially with a big, good layout like mine, it's not a problem. Curves, it's not suitable for first. It's not suitable for first radius. Try saying that when you're drunk. Body removal, locomotive, tender. That'll be useful when we chip it, when we make it DCC. It's not DCC at the moment, but it is DCC ready. See, there we go, DCC decoder fitting, 21 pin. Everything's going 21 pin these days, isn't it? But I tell you, loads of those functions I just can't see me ever using, such as it running out of coal. I'm not joking. One of the features of a 21 pin chip is that you can actually have it run out of coal. It's not real, people. It's only a fake load, but you can actually have the locomotive simulate running out of fuel so it will grind to a halt and just stop. I mean, how real do you want to go? I don't know. That's a little bit extreme for me, but that's me. That's just me. Sound decoder. Wow. Now chipping this baby out with a sound decoder, that would be pretty immense. I'm going to have to do that in the future. I've got way too much to spend money on at the moment. Tender drawbar adjustment. Oh, that's quite fancy. This one has a variable length drawbar. Yeah, I think I know what that means. Well, that's that's the linkage between the tender and the locomotive. This bar here, you can basically make it really, really close, really tight, so that the tender's dead close up to the locomotive, which looks dead realistic. But you try going around a second radius curve and the thing will snap and blow up. So if you've got pretty tight curves, you need to have quite a bit of a gap there. But if your curves are really gentle, or you've got no curves at all, then yeah, you could have it dead tight, I suppose, and dead realistic. Adding detail. So they're really nice instructions. This bit on the back is pretty much useless, isn't it? I mean, I wish they'd put just like a cartoon or a doodle there, to be honest. No, I mean, I suppose if you need to replace parts, it's quite useful, but to be honest, more ice falling on the conservatory. But to be honest, you don't really need to do that. You very rarely need to do that. And if you do have parts to replace, usually it's like the shop that you bought it from, or the shop you're having to get it repaired at, that does that. I've never had to worry about doing that at all. But yeah, okay, so that's all of that. And then what's this? This is going to be the warranty, isn't it? This is going to be the guarantee. Yeah, because consumer guarantee, they have to do this. This is the law. If you buy something new, it's got to at least last a year. So there we go. Right, so packaging all out of shot, because I'm OCD like that. Okay, here we have it. Now, this is something to pay attention to. This locomotive and tender are linked. Please lift both together. Yeah, so be careful if you buy one of these. This is a limited edition NRM one, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be coming out, because obviously they've made the tooling, but they're going to be coming out in lots of other liveries as well, such as LMS and British Railways, you know, all black and stuff like that. So if you do get one of these, not exactly this one, but if you do buy a Midland Compound, then be careful when you open it up, because they are connected. Now, wow, look at this. Of all the models I have, this is the daddy of spare parts. Well, detailing parts. Just look at them. Now, I'm pretty sure that's probably something to do with the speaker. If I'm wrong, somebody will correct me. They always do. But I'm pretty sure that's something to do with the speaker. It looks like that's maybe some sort of disc for going on the front. Maybe. And then we've got additional pipe work there, which is rather fancy. Some vacuum tubing. And I don't know what that is. We'll have to look at that in another video when I do some detailing videos. There's loads of those coming up in Series 4, so we'll look at, we'll look at those another time. Back to the locomotive. Oh, something engine shot. I'm not going to be happy with that. Okay, we've got couplings there, are they couplings? Oh, they're couplings, yes, but they're not couplings that you would use. They're basically to just look really nice. And then they look like steps. They look like footsteps. Yes. Well, it's got footsteps on, just there and there. So maybe they're not footsteps. I don't know. Anyway, let's do that. Oh, in fact, they've just flown out, so we can get a closer look at them. Whoa, not too close, Will. Okay, a couple of little screws. They do look like footsteps. No, they're not. No, they're not footsteps. Well, what are they then? I don't know. I really don't know. But wow, look at those couplings. Look, they've actually even painted. That's quality. That's what I'm on about. The detail on this model is exquisite, as you'll see shortly, but you get extra exquisite detail as well. It's just outstanding. 10 out of 10 for detail. It's simply 10 out of 10. I can't go any higher. Okay, really gently. With what? Now, you've got to be careful because you don't want to actually damage any of it, do you? And there's like all these really delicate metal handrails and everything. But basically, just firmly but carefully grab that bit there and then grab the tender somewhere as well. Let the packaging fall over and do whatever it wants, it doesn't matter. Get it out of shot. Okay, and then turn it round again. Oops, OCD. I have to look at my locomotives all the same way. Here we go. Here she is, and I'm going to really carefully hold her because she's just exquisite. Look at this. Just look. Ignore the dripping ice and snow on the conservatory roof. Look how beautiful this is. And are you prepared for this? Are you ready? Da, da, da. Look! Oh my gosh. Look at that cab. Is that not the most detailed cab ever? I think the only things missing are a guy called Stan cooking some bacon, to be honest. Actual real bacon, you know, in a real working boiler, a real working firebox. That's the only thing missing. I can't think, I mean, look, even what to be honest, looks like the regulator up there at the top, or some sort of control lever. And then there's even tiny little numbers on the dials right at the very top of the cab there. Absolutely exquisite. I've never seen a cab like it. It's got the best cab out of any model I've ever looked at. It really has. Now that's that drawbar we talked about a bit ago. And this drawbar is adjustable. And then there's a little pin there at the back. And basically you have to slide that above this bar and then get the pin to lock into the hole, and there you have it. Job's a good one. The cabling is obviously for the chip. The DCC chip goes in the tender. You get that a lot these days now, because basically the tender's a perfect space for it, to be honest. It's got lots of room in there. You can put the sound speaker in there, you know, the loudspeaker, and if you're having it DCC sound, then obviously your DCC chip is also the one with the sound on, so everything just goes in the tender, and it leaves the actual locomotive, you know, the boiler part, which is all of this. So that's your boiler, there's your firebox, and that's your smoke box, and it leaves all of that free for the motor. She probably could take a smoke generator as well, actually. That's quite a good chimney. There's probably, I don't know, we'll have to see what it's like when we open her up, but there's probably room in there for a smoke generator. And if you could put a smoke generator in, wow. That's just, tell you what, I bet those grey things I looked at earlier I thought were some sort of indicator, some sort of marker disc. I bet they were actually for that. They look like they go on the front of the cylinders, don't they? They do, they look like they go on the front of the cylinders. Anyway, look at the livery. Absolutely beautiful. You can see that pipework there. That's actual proper pipework, people. That's not plastic, that's not just part of the moulding. That's been put on afterwards. Sprung buffers. Little lamps on the front, look at them. They don't light up. They don't. They could be made to light up, but they don't light up as it is. And then you've got a metal handrail that runs all the way down the side there. I'm going to be very gentle. I'm so scared of snapping something live on camera. And the tender is, just look at that. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. My only criticism is the gigantic, really ugly, big load of plastic coal. That's it. That's my only criticism. I don't like, these really ugly plastic loads like that. I'd much rather them be removable and easy to remove so that you can put in proper coal and make it look really, really nice. But apart from that, it's perfect. You've got sprung buffers on the back. Of course, the couplings are NEM and they are small, slimline tension lock as well. Look at all the pickups there as well. You can see all the, the copper tracking, which is part of the mechanism for pickups. And look at the black bit. Just look at that axle there. You see how that black bit's there in the middle? That's insulating, that is. That's keeping the left free from the right so that you don't get any short circuits. Now, I'm pretty sure it's just got these two as their driving wheels, yep. But these probably help in picking up, do they? No. No, they don't. No. I guess it would be a bit over the top. If you've got those two picking up and all of them on the tender, you don't really need those, do you? Absolutely exquisite. I can't fault it apart from the plastic coal load. It's just out of this world. Now, earlier I was talking about cylinders, wasn't I? I'm going to come back and talk about that again because the Midland Compound really was quite special. These two cylinders on the outside are they're called low pressure. These are what are called low pressure cylinders. And the Midland Compound had one gigantic high pressure cylinder in the middle. So it had like a really big one in the middle between the frames, and then it had these two low pressure ones on the outside. It's really hard to show you because it's coupled up and it has to stay coupled up all the time, but you can see that there's one there and then there's one there, and they are low pressure, and the one on the inside was high pressure. So basically, if I just put it down, I'm going to lie it down actually because I'll be able to show you better. If I just gently lie it down on this piece of paper, here we go. So I can kind of show you. But basically, the steam would go into the big high pressure cylinder between the frames first, and then that would drive, the wheels. But then afterwards, the steam would leave through special valves and enter these low pressure cylinders on the outside, which would drive the more typical type of, it would drive the more typical kind of mechanism we're used to there with the main driving rod and the coupling rods. So he really was, when he designed this, he really was making as much use of that steam as possible. So remember, the steam is going straight down into a really big cylinder, which is kind of like a piston in a car. It's driving the wheels that way, connected in the middle, and then it's leaving and going out to these two ones and driving them again. So really, really efficient use of the steam, which is why it's got 3 cylinders. It sounds crazy, but it's a very, very common design. It was so common, so successful, it went around the whole world. Loads and loads of countries copied it, and they did a better job of it, to be honest, and they still use it to today in some countries. And in Britain, it was replaced with more efficient outer cylinder designs. But I find this quite interesting as well. If we had stuck with broad gauge, if we had stuck with Isambard Kingdom Brunel's broad gauge, there wouldn't be a need really to have cylinders on the outside, because his locomotives were so broad, they were so wide, all of this stuff you see here, all of these cylinders and all the linkage and driving rods, they could all be inside the frames. So between there and there, you wouldn't need to put anything on the outside at all. It would all be inside. And the boiler could be lower down as well. It wouldn't have to be so high up. But I don't know. We went with narrow gauge. Well, not narrow gauge. We went with what became known as standard gauge. But yeah, interesting if we had gone with broad gauge, how radically different locomotives would have been. Oh well, maybe in another dimension. So there we have it, the Midland Compound. Detail that is out of this world. A mechanism which is just fascinating to read about and to learn about. Now, one thing left to do. And yeah, you know what it is. Right, okay, so here we are over at the layout. Now I'm going to continue to use this this conservatory layout for most of Series 4 because until the new layout is a complete loop, I can't run in locomotives anywhere else. So, you know, at some point halfway through Series 4, you're going to be seeing me use both for various things. And, you know, that's fine, isn't it? There's not a problem with that. But for new locomotives and running locomotives in, it's going to be the conservatory layout for quite some time. So I'm going to get this locomotive, really gently lift it up, make sure it's coupled up, okay, there we go. The little pin is in that drawbar. Just put the tender on and then make sure all of the others are on okay as well. Now she's DC at the moment. As I say, she is DCC ready, we know that. She's 21 pin DCC ready, but at the moment she's still DC. She hasn't been chipped yet. So we're going to, in fact, she's not ran. Has she run? No, I don't think she has. I don't think, or did I run her in? I can't remember. I know that I have taken her out of the packaging when I got her, and I did put her on the track and I took some photos and put them on Facebook and stuff, but I don't think I've actually properly ran her in yet. So, yeah, a little bit nervous on camera and everything. I hope it goes okay. It should do. Let's give her a little wiggle. Oh yeah, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And look how slow she can go as well. Okay, she sounds like she's trumping. She sounds like she's got wind. But that's really good for a brand new locomotive that's never been run in properly and is DC. Yeah, that's good. That's quality. But then we wouldn't expect anything else. You know, this is a flagship model almost. This is worth every penny. Right. Okay. Let's get her running around the layout then. And away she goes. Oh, absolutely beautiful. Look at that. What a gorgeous locomotive. Now, I must admit, that speed is probably higher than I would usually run them around the layout for whilst filming and stuff, but I'm running her in. So that's why I'm running her at a slightly higher speed, because really, when you're running the locomotive in, you should pick a speed somewhere around that sort of area. If we just take a look at the DC controller, here we go. You can see, well, on this particular style of controller, and again, there's more on that coming up in Series 4 later on, but that's about 11 o'clock, which is perfect for running in. You don't want to have the controller around here because that's way too fast. And then again, if you have it too low, then you're labouring the engine. It's not running at a proper speed, it's going to struggle. But this is perfect. So I'm really happy with that. That's really good performance. And I'm going to let her run in at that speed. I know I say this about a lot of locomotives, especially the steam ones from Bachmann, but this model is absolutely exquisite. It's luxurious. If it was a food, it would be caviar. If it was a supermarket, it would be Waitrose or Booths or Harrods. It's just, it exudes quality. Yeah, the Lego station seems to have stopped progress at the moment. The creeper there seems to have scared everybody away. But I'm sure that construction with that will continue, and it'll be all done in time, ready for the Lego vids, which are coming up soon. Along with Thomas and friends as well. It's all to come, don't worry. I've got a lot to do. So yeah, the Midland Compound, absolutely exquisite. Even if you don't get one in this exact livery, you've got to get one. They're amazing. The quality is fantastic. It's the best steam locomotive from Bachmann I've opened yet. It really is. Nothing else comes close, to be honest. Now, for a video of her pulling some stock, some suitable rolling stock, I'm going to actually do a separate video on that. I'm going to do something that my friend Alistair does, who runs the British Railways 60163, is it? A channel? Basically it's the number of Tornado, I think that's the number. But yeah, his channel, it features special steam galas every now and then, where he does lots of runnings of different locomotives with different rolling stock. And that's what I'm going to do quite soon. And this locomotive will be starting that off, basically. So you shouldn't have too long to wait to see it pulling some suitable and appropriate rolling stock. But for now, I'm going to leave her running in, and then shortly I'll change direction and send her backwards, which will look weird. And yeah, what a locomotive. What a way to start the series off. Absolutely stunning.